What else did you want me to address? Memphis Bleek versus Nas or something. He said something about Nas. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all told me to do that. Now that we didn't took care of Tommy, he's done. Let me see. What do we have here? Memphis Bleek says Nas can't compete with Jay-Z in a versus battle. That's what y'all talking about. Well, here's the thing about Memphis Bleek. I do want to put this out before we get into it. If it wasn't for Memphis Bleek, as stupid as that comment he just made is, and stupid as the last one he made, Memphis Bleek is the reason the majority of you are here. The majority of you are here because of Memphis Bleek. This used to be a boxing, basically only website. I think I had 5,000 subscribers based off of that premise alone. 5,000. Once Memphis Bleek came out with this nonsense about Nas, that he started the Nas and Jay-Z beef. It started because of him. And I went in the comment section and commented, like, this is ridiculous. And I told the truth. And it got all of those responses. And I'm like, people don't know this? I went and made a video, the truth behind the Jay-Z and Nas beef. And when I did that, it just opened the door. I had no idea people didn't know the real story, but then I forget sometimes that people are younger and were like babies at that time. So for them, they wouldn't know. Plus, the real story was never really told. So let's hear what he got to say. And shout out to Scoop B too. He's like at Scoop Bob. He's the guy that was interviewing Bleek. Shouts out to him. So let's hear what Bleek had to say. There's him and Scoop.
Nas versus. Would you like to see a Jay-Z Nas versus?
It's not. It's no comparison.
Why?
It's not because Nas don't have enough songs to compete, and there's no disrespect to him. He just don't. He just don't. Jay can battle somebody with just his B-sides concert catalog, and it's still be better than people A-side.
Who is Jay's equal then if you were to do a versus?
Like I said, it would have to be somebody like Big. That was his only competition that I ever seen that he even felt was competition. You know what I'm saying? Like that he knew when they went and did not Dead Presidents, when they went and did the record with the back and forth on the Reasonable Doubt, Brooklyn's Finest. Like Jay knew, like I had to go in this studio with the best of me ever, because I'm rhyming with one of the best from Brooklyn, and I'm not gonna let this dude try to dog walk me on no record. So
I sat down with Clark Kent on my podcast a couple years ago, and he actually discussed how he got Jay and Big to do Brooklyn's Finest. Were you in the studio that night?
No, I wish I could have been there, because I heard there's two versions, that it was supposed to be verse for verse, and after Big heard Jay verse, he was like, nah, bro, we gonna do this line for line. So I heard the story, but I wish I could have been there to capture the moment.
Now, my thoughts. It's clear to see that Memphis Bleek has smoked himself into a coma, because You just said Big. So it would have to be somebody like Big to go up against him. But you just said Nas didn't have enough songs. Big only made 2 albums. You realize this, right? And a few albums and a few songs later, I think Nas have made more songs than Big. Big went before his time. So it's kind of hard to gauge that. Now, even with Biggie with a short catalog, you only need 20 damn songs. You think Nas ain't got 20 songs to go up against Jay? Are you kidding me? This is the level of ignorance that comes with dealing with Bleek. You know how much songs that Jay-Z made that was complete just doo-doo? Nas make timeless music. I can go back and listen to some of it. Not to say Jay didn't have some hits. Jay had hits. But there's a lot of songs of Jay that I don't really go back to. Songs that was hot for the moment. I mean, how many of y'all go back and listen to Hard Knock Life song? Really? I mean, Jay-Z's biggest song to date is Hard Knock Life. You gonna put that up there with If I Rule the World? You gonna put that up there with that? Are you gonna put that song up there with that? Or Empire State of Mind? I'm from New York. You gonna put that up there where Jay says absolutely nothing for like 4 minutes straight? And it's his biggest song to date? So Nas can destroy all those records in just 3 albums. He don't even have to touch none of his old stuff. Like his newer stuff, he ain't even got to put that up there. Jay popularity might give him the edge because a lot of people don't understand Nas songs. Plus, it would have to deal with the lineup. But there'll be a lot of Illmatic songs. Hell, you could put the whole Illmatic album up there. How could he lose? I mean, really. Every verse that Nas spit on Illmatic is something classic. Reasonable Doubt is a great album and probably Jay's most polished work to date. But is there anything on RD that'll make you say that can mess with Illmatic? Nope. So I understand what Bleek was trying to do, still riding for his mans, but nah. It would definitely be a competition beyond anything that you could imagine, because you only have to get 20 songs, Bleek. I don't even think he understands how verses works. So when you say Nas don't have that many songs, Is he trying to say hit records? Like commercially hit records? I would say Jay had more performing club records. That's if you want to say that, then yeah, if it's about club records. But as you can see from the Locks verses, that ain't had nothing to do with it. Well, when other people decide that songs of nature and, things that matters of importance, some people get called celebrity because they'll be like, oh, that song with him and Beyonce and Jay jumping on the remixes. Jay is more of a compilation rapper to me than a single artist. Go listen to Volume 2. His Volume 2, he only has 2 songs by himself. Everybody else is a feature. Every song on there. So let that sink in. Plus, Memphis Bleek shouldn't be the one to even make these comparisons or statements with Memphis Bleek. His career was bleak. It was barely there. I mean, that's Jay-Z's, that's his boy. That's what he's supposed to say. Like, if Jungle was on here, what would Jungle say? So that's just how it is. I don't really look into it no more than what it is in face value. So besides that, I don't think there's anything really more to mention. So I mean, that was just it for me. Oh, and thanks for everybody who hit up my cash out, which is Carceno, Karceno. Thanks for everybody who did that, and hopefully all you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the page. Do appreciate that. Subscribe to Welcome to HDTV with the 2 eyes. Want to say that too. Anybody who super chatted, that's cool also. But I just wanted to make sure I addressed this because a lot of you asked about it and it wasn't on my mind really. And then I kept seeing somebody else say something like, what do you think, saying Nas wouldn't compare to Jay-Z in a versus battle. And I'm just like, dude, when someone drops an album that people are calling and in the debate of, is it the greatest hip hop album of all time? That person don't have 20 songs to compete with Jay-Z. No Jay-Z album, even Reasonable Doubt, which is his best, has ever been considered the greatest album of all time in hip hop. So that comparison is ludicrous. And to say Big is the only one you could put next to Jay is retarded, because Big would be up there with Pac in that level, in that category. I mean, that would be a comparison. But you would say Big, who has less songs than Nas, and his excuse is Nas don't have more songs. Is he trying to say hit records? I don't, because he must forget that Nas was a bigger artist than Jay-Z for, to about 2000, 2001. So Jay didn't start selling records to about 98, 99. Nas came out selling 2 million and 3 million records. After Illmatic, there was no comparison. He was selling multi. So the illusion that Jay-Z was selling more records was crazy, because that wasn't even true. That's what people get mixed up at. I'm serious. I mean, at the time, Illmatic wasn't the only album, and it had went gold. It had sold more than Reasonable Doubt. And Reasonable Doubt had a whole cast of stars, from Mary J. Blige to Biggie. That album didn't sell. It had some very disappointing sales. Volume 1, that barely touched 1 million, if that. Then was the Streets Is Watching soundtrack, which don't get the credit it deserved, but that helped boost Jay-Z's street cred. And highlighted some of the things that weren't highlighted in Volume 1. So that was that. But like I'm saying, that didn't sell. I mean, that sold in the streets, but that really didn't take off. It was Volume 2 that really did it. He sold 4 million out the gate, but Nas came out and sold 3 million on It Was Written. Then I Am sold 2.5 million. Then Nostradamus sold like 1.7. Then we know Stillmatic came and sold another 2 million records. So at the time, Nas was selling just as many records as Jay-Z. But Jay was just dropping an album like every summer, every summer. Like every 6 months he was dropping an album, because he was trying to complete his contract. That's all that was. But most of the songs was just foo-foo. Wasn't no substance to them. So, like I'm saying, most of the songs that we like wouldn't even make the verses anyway. And those songs shouldn't even be in comparison. But they think they can't find 20 Nas songs to compete with 20 J songs? Are you crazy? That right there tells you Memphis Bleek don't be talking, just talk way out of his ass. So anyway, I'm out. Thanks again for the support. God bless. Deuces.